Hello and welcome to how I play my level 80 Shadowknight. So we're just going to jump right into this. If you watch the level 75 or the previous videos, this will kind of be familiar. There is a little bit of change in how I do some things, but for the most part, this is kind of a carry-on. So at 80, we gained 2 spell slots, which really put me in a predicament because I didn't know what to put in those spell slots, but I think I figured it out. So we're going to talk about spells, we're going to talk about the hotbar, we'll talk about the multibind, and then we'll talk about anything else that has changed. So first up, our first spell here in spell slot number 1 is Trial of Power. I feel like this is a really important spell to keep on at all times because, one, it gives us a lot of hatred, right? So 742 points of hatred every 6 seconds for 30 seconds. On top of that, we also get 65 armor class for 1 minute. I cast this as probably my most important spell right now. Later on, there will be a spell that goes before this, but for now, this is what we're going with right now. So I got that as number 1. Number 2, we have our current level spear. This is Rot Marrow Spear. This is 1300 damage. With all the bonuses and stuff we get from the gear and all that, we can see that this is actually... Did it not do any damage? What happened there? I was resisted. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing for me. Well, it's 35 seconds. We'll cast it again later. But with all the bonuses, it's doing a little bit more than that. So it's worth it to cast. Now, here, let's get rid of that. Next up, we have a Black Water Bite. Now, this will do 357 damage, but it will heal hit points and mana for the group. So this is just a nice little spell to throw on. You can see out here, spell damage. With all the bonuses, it's doing 1,000 damage now. So that's, that's pretty nice, right? I think we're fighting mobs with like 40,000 hit points, give or take. So, a little bit off the top there. So it's pretty good, but it also throws some stuff, heals back on to the group. So I don't know how much that actually does. I haven't looked it up yet, but there you can go. You can see a spear did 3,000 with a non-critical. So we got a lot of modifications to how we do things. The bard, I've changed the bard completely. So the bard will have this is going to be a long video, but we're getting a lot of spell focus stuff going on from the bard. So there's that. Then we have a Touch of the Soul Bleeder. This is our life tap that gives us HP. So it gives us a little bit of temporary hit points, and it decays over time. I think it's a let's cast it real quick. So it does 2,000 healing, right? But where is it? Soul Bleeder right here. It's a 9-minute buff. So increases the hate generated by 20%, increases our maximum hit points by 688. The hit points decay over time. So again, this is just another fantastic spell. Generates hate, generates hit points, and heals us. So it's hard to beat that. Next up, we have Touch of the Kill Durkin. I'm gonna go with Kill Durkin. So this one is a 1,400 point life tap. Now, imagine how much this is going to do with bonuses, right? 2,000. Critical is going to be about 6,000 to 8,000. I'm currently rocking 75,000 hit points at level 80. So it'll eventually, if it ever crits here, it'll do a lot of stuff. And when the bard song, is the bard even singing? No, the bard's not singing. Hold on. When the bard is singing our aria of the arcane or whatever it is that I need. Oh no, I gotta stop her. Here, let's just turn it on. Aria of the arcane anthem. So arcane anthem here gives us additional damage to our spells. So if we go back to that Kill Durkin, right? So it adds 1500 damage to our thing, plus the normal damage of the spell. So it's kind of crazy how this kind of adds up really quick, right? You can see there, every spell gets an extra 1500. So having a bard is very beneficial to the Shadowknight because everything we do casts spells. So there's some synergy there. And you know, I am playing 6 characters, so that synergy, you know, is just how I play my characters. This isn't how to solo a Shadowknight, so this is just, you know, what it is. After Kill Durkin, we have Verant, which is a 1200 point life tap. It's just the previous version of Kill Durkin, right? And then I have Touch of the Devourer, which is a 700 point or 740 point life tap, which is the previous version of that one, right? I'm kind of using life taps over and over again to get the maximum out of that based on the cooldown. So then finally we have Terror of the Devour. We have Terror of the Soul Bleeder, which is our current level Jolt Hate. This will just make something instantly attack us. If we just cast it here, instacast, boom, that mob is attacking us. I believe it increases hate by 1. It's the same as using taunt. So that's in my multibind, and I use those on cooldown. Now, new to the lineup here, I actually added the dots that we get as a as a Shadowknight. We get 2 dots. They are one is 36 duration and one is 54 seconds. So the durations are not that great. Mobs die too fast for the most part for these. But I envision certain situations where I might want these up, especially when I'm trying to dot with like the other characters. Now, I'm going to hit my dot button here, number pad 4. Helps if I actually have a target, right? They go for whatever the target is of me, so I just, you know, it is what it is. All right, so that should be done. All right, let's cast that again. So you can see there, they're insta-cast, and they do, you know, moderate damage, right? It's not a whole lot, right? And they do proc the Arcane Anthem from the Bard. You see there, the 5400 crit from a dot. So it's, you know, what is it? These are Blood of the Blackwater and Assiduous Impurity, right? I mean, it's doing 467 a tick, 1300 a tick. That's not too bad, right? That's not too bad. It's not as good as like the life taps and stuff, but if I'm in a situation where I do want everybody in my thing to dot, right? Like if we start doing this, you can kind of see how ridiculous this actually gets. All my characters that can dot, so the Beast Lord, the Shaman, and the Shadowknight are all dotting, right? Like nothing fizzles. It's pretty crazy. You can see our first 2 are us, and then you got the Beast Lord, you got the Shaman's got 2 poison dots, Beast Lord's got a disease dot and a poison. There you go. And this adds up to, I think, like 10,000 a tick, just in dot damage from all 4 of them, or all 3 of them. Now, if I turn the Bard on, I had the Bard off specifically. So if I turn her songs on, right, I change the Bard up so that she's chants. So you'll see that this whole entire bar will be filled up with songs here in a second. But again, I just added dots to it to kind of have that extra flexibility, because we did get 2 extra spell slots to play with, and I was already pretty much sold on what I had. Now, we're going to get 1 more spell slot, but we will change some of this up again later on when we get Steely Stance and that whole line of spells. And I believe we get 1 other self buff that we will need a spell slot for. So I envision the bottom 3 spell slots, you know, 11, 12, and 13, to be taken up by defensive abilities that we will need to have memorized at all times. And the rest, you know, 1 through 10 will be pretty much this. The dots will probably fade away, if anything, but it's kind of there. Next, we have Revile. This is a AoE taunt. This is a fantastic spell. I love it. See, it hits everything there, up to 30 targets. In the last video that we did for the series, Hobbs and Friends, we were doing what is it? Gribbles, yeah, we're doing the Gribbles, and I would run into the thing and I'd pull them all, and I would lose aggro on some of them because, you know, bards are crazy, shamans are crazy, right? They do a lot of aggro pulling, and so I had to, you know, use this spell a lot to pull that aggro back to me. Let's go ahead and stop her. But, you know, it is what it is. I find it to be fantastic. Now, we will get AA versions of this. Explosion of Hatred, Explosion of Spite. I believe both of those do the same kind of concept. So we will have, I think, 3 on AoE taunts at some point. And we're going to be a phenomenal AoE taunting kind of tank for pulling large numbers of mobs. Now, how practical that is when the mobs hit for like 60,000 later on, I don't know. I know my paladin can tank 2 or 3, 4 at a time, and he doesn't lose aggro most of the time, but when he does, it can be problematic. So it'll be interesting to see how the Shadowknight can kind of take that AoE aggro, pull it on him. I'll probably have to do Sword and Shield, but I feel like with a lot of the kit that the Shadowknight has, it will be a cakewalk for the most part. So we'll see how that eventually plays out. And then finally we have Umbral Skin. This is just a self buff that seems to have faded away, doesn't take hold, it got overwritten by something. So we have Burning Brim Body took over that. Alright, so it doesn't stack with Burning Brim Body, so that's a mage spell. Let me get rid of that for now. We'll have to look into that. I guess we can't recast that. It just gives us a proc that absorbs the impact of the spells. Now, depending on, like, you know, the difference between those two spells is going to be like a choice that I'm going to have to make, I guess, because I did not realize they did not stack. Here we go. Gives you a thick, sickly hue that's sometimes hard to absorb the impact of attacks made against me. Now, if it's the choice is between, you know, what this one does here, right? Burning Brim Body coats your target in an aura of flames. The flames can be frequently lash out and attack creatures. If it's the choice between this and that, I'm going to take Skin 100% of the time because I want to take less damage. My job as the tank is to take less, you know, take all the damage. So, you know, that's the choice that I'm going to probably have to make and block that spell, so I don't have to deal with it in the future. I just now noticed it didn't stack. But there we go. We got Umbral Skin is the last spell I have memorized. Now, I don't really deviate from this spell list. This is what I use and what I'm going to use all the way probably to level 85, because I probably won't change my spells until then. But I do memorize the pet, so the current pet is Maladroit Minion, which is level 70 pet, so it's not too bad. I keep it out. It does damage. Let's see what he's doing right now. Hey, come over here. Alright, let's attack. Other melee here. So he's in for like 150, 158, 224, wow. He's a puncher, so he doesn't even, whoa, he's crit for 467. So he's doing damage. And I really want him out at all times because of the synergy with my mages who use this spell right here, Shock of the Many. Burns your target with a bolt of elemental bolt. The bolt magnified by nearby summoned creatures, dealing 1849 damage between 1 and 2 pets. 7,000 or 7865 for 3 to 6 pets, and 13,000 with 7 or more pets. You can see the significant difference in the amount of damage this spell does based on the number of pets are near it. So, me having a Shadowknight here, that's 1 more pet, right? So, if we think about that, you know, that's 1 pet that I don't have to think about here. Between 1 and 2, I need to get to 3. So just having the 2 mages, I'm already at 3 with the Shadowknight. Add in the Shaman pet and the Beast Lord pet, I get there pretty quick. And that is a phenomenal amount of damage. 13,000 a nuke? I mean, like my normal nuke on this is 4,100. So that is pretty crazy. And that's pretty much maintainable at most times. Now, I get a swarm pet, so Chattering Bones, we'll talk about this here in a second, but we do get a swarm pet that we can throw up too that lasts for 55 seconds to put that to keep that number up. So having the pet out is not an option. Is 100% optional. I mean, not optional for me, right? I need it out to maximize my damage for the synergy of my group. And depending on if you're boxing, you're not boxing, you're grouping with other people, you're grouping with a mage, you might want to think about all that. That's a lot of strategy you need to like pre-think about having things set up, right? I don't give him gear. You can do like inventory on the pet, right? I don't give him gear. He dies a significant amount. If he gets buffed, like if I come and do a buff on all these characters with my level 120s and stuff like that, then he's gonna last a lot longer. But currently, he's only buffed with what this group can do, and so that is, it is what it is. As long as I watch him and make sure he doesn't do something stupid, he will stay alive for the entirety of everything. Now, see, then there is also a pet buff, Expalidate Death, I don't even know. It's just a typical haste buff, fills your pet with power, increases attack speed, armor class, and strength. Typical pet haste buff, current level. Alright, so that's all the spells I use. I don't go outside that very often. If I do, it's probably not really doing much anymore. We can talk about disciplines. Now, these are slightly different than spells. They take endurance and stuff like that. I didn't really cover them as in detailed in the previous videos, but now it's getting to the point where it needs to be more mentioned, right? So I do have Last Grasp here. Now, this is a feigned death, I believe, right? Yeah, this is a feigned death spell. I don't really use it. I put it on the little combat abilities bar here. I might click it once. I probably won't. I have Death Piece AA, which is a 0.5 second cast time now. Like I see here. It's pretty good. Its passive effect reduces the chance of feigned deaths to be broken by detrimental spells, landing by 60%. Prevents resistant spells from breaking feigned deaths, right? Like, that sounds pretty good. I don't see any of that benefit over here. It might get it just passively. It's about the same casting time, but I prefer the AA. It doesn't really matter too much, I would suppose, at the end of the day, though. And you get multiple. I mean, they don't share a cooldown, so if you want to put them all in one macro, you probably could, and it would probably work. See here, where was I? Oh yeah, disciplines. So the other one, Rigor Mortis, is another stop death one. It's a timer 1. The other one's a timer 9. You figure it out which one you want there. I mean, yeah, this one seems stronger. Does it? Yeah, they are there. So the real discipline is this one right here. Umbral Carapace. This here absorbs 25% of incoming melee damage for 1 minute, and then fades away after 19,000 damage. Now, I'm getting hit for, let's see here. I think I logged out. Yeah, I logged out. I'm getting hit for about 1,000, 2,000, I feel like. It just depends on, a lot of factors and stuff like that. So it lasts for a little while. Especially if you're fighting lower level mobs. Like I like to go for yellows and reds and, stuff inside of instances. And if you're fighting lower level stuff, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of this. Name's not going to probably pop it in a common fight, right? But if you're fighting higher level stuff, you're going to get hit for more. You're going to get hit, more often. So this will probably fade pretty quick, but it's still invaluable. And then, like, all the rest of the disciplines are kind of useless, except for these ones here. Leech Curse, Deflection, Unholy. Those are kind of where it's at. So Leech Curse is a offensive defensive one, right? This is pretty interesting. It heals you for 100% of the damage done by your melee attacks, while your increasing your melee accuracy by 200%. So I pop Leech Curse. Now every time I hit, I'm absorbing all that life, right? Let's take a look at what I hit for. All right, so 1800, 1700, 3000, 3500. I'm healing. During this 24 seconds, every single hit would heal me 100% for all of this, and I would have 200% accuracy. So these 2 or 3 misses you see here, they wouldn't happen. So it's kind of crazy, right? Like, that's a pretty strong discipline. So keep that one in mind. I have it right here so I can pop it when I need it. I use it as a mostly defensive. It is mostly defensive, right? But I use it mostly as like a secondary defensive kind of discipline. Deflection allows you to block stuff with your shield. Now, it only lasts for 12 seconds, and I don't use a shield, so I don't know if it actually works with a two-hander. I've never even tried that. Probably something I should put on my to-do list to actually try and see, but it's a 40 minute reuse for 12 seconds. So it's kind of, you use it, you can, see what happens. Right now, I believe, so the breastplate here will increase the duration by 1 tick. I don't know if that's already taken for there, so I'm not 100% sure if you're already doing it, getting that 8, or does it go up to 18? So, I don't know. But maybe we'll find out in the next video. And then Unholy Discipline increases the damage of your life taps by 100%. Now, think about that one. This one is offensive and defensive, because all the life taps heal me, so that's defensive. But I'm using the life taps as a offensive way to heal myself. So it's a very interesting synergy in how this all works together. I pop that one when I need it. Mostly, it's a 5-minute duration, so it's just whenever I need it. Like, if I don't have this one, I don't have that one, I'm gonna go for that one. Kind of priority system there, if you will. But right now we don't really have many of the other disciplines we will get later on that will fill in the slots here, but it's it is what it is. So that's the spells, that's the disciplines. Let's talk about the hotbars here and how I do the multibind. All right, all the hotbars are the exact same, like the exact same as the level 75 video. I have a hide corpse macro, I have a snare, I have my multibind buttons, which are multibind on 4 and 5. Talk about it in every single video. I'll probably eventually stop even mentioning how it works. But you can see here, every button is bound to 4 and 5. So keep that in mind when I talk about this in the future. I did move Revile to 6 so that I don't have to click it over here. I can just hit 6 when I'm on any screen, and it will cast it. So just makes that easier for me. I cleaned up anything else that was on the bar. I set Trial of Power as my pull. I think I did that in the last one. I updated my dots macro and added that in here to cast 9 and 10, just so it's both dots, right? So there's the instacast one, and then the next one right there. The pause of 35 allows me to cast them both back to back. So you gotta wait 3.5 seconds for the spell window to refresh, but it is what it is. And then I have Feign Death and Cloak of Shadows. That's just because I use my mouse. This is everything on my mouse, and this is just my teleport bar. Nothing on that bar, and then the multibind. All right. I have Taunt. I have Trial of Power. I have Spear. I have Blackwater Bite. I have Terror, and then I have the 4 life taps right here. The first life tap is Soul Bleeder, which is the one that gives us the additional hit points and all that. I find that this order is pretty. It'll pretty much get to this last one no problem, depending on lag or whatever. But then we have Chattering Bones, which is our swarm pet, and Bite of Chaos, which is a level 80 AA we just picked up that does 600 damage to your target and gives everybody in the group 600 health and 260 mana. So this is kind of like the Blackwater Bite right here. So if we kind of go over here and just stand right here and I'm going to hit 4. So I'm going to be, everything I do is I'm hitting 4 over and over again. So Trial of Power, all the A's, and you can see here it goes down the list of everything on my bound to 4. Now you'll see I recast Trial of Power a lot because that's just pretty much how it works, right? It is, kind of, what is the word, right? It's an almost instant recast, right? But I wish it was a little bit longer recast, but it is what it is. You can see here we're almost to the last one, and it just recasts whatever is available in the time. So I kind of have them sorted by duration. We may or may not actually get all the way down here. Like some of these durations change between things, so it is what it is. Now, if later on I don't need the terror line, I will drop it from the line, but we'll see how it goes from now. You can see it's, just pretty much going through everything here. The AAs don't really affect anything. They add cast times, but they don't affect any of the spells. And we always have a spell to cast. And you can see I'm still meleeing this whole damn time. like it's not like it. I only melee when I don't have a spell to cast, right? So if that makes sense. And I've just been hitting the 4 button this entire time. Not too hard to play this class. Not too hard at all. Most of the characters I play can be played with 1 button if you multi-bind them, right? Like I've got it distilled down to the simplest way to play. There's a lot going on, but it is just the way they made the game. So, and there we go. It looks like these aren't really getting cast at this point in time. There's some delay changes that I guess happen on one of these spells. So I mean that's not even really a big deal. If they get kissed, they get if they get cast, they get cast. I don't really care. But you can see it is what it is there. Now, that's my multi-bind. That's how I do all of that. Up here we have Harm Touch, which is our big damage AA nuke, right? This does 30,000 damage and then 11,000 damage for 36 seconds. That's crazy. Then we have Leech Curse, which drains 900 plus 5,500 health from your target. It's insane, right? It's like a little, like Paladins get Lay of Hands. It's kind of like Lay of Hands in all honesty. All right, back him off so he's free. And then I just have the Revite right here, or Revile, so we can cast that if I click it, but I've moved it over to 6 mostly. And then I have Wand of... Wrong wand. It's not even there. The Wand of Prime Transvergence, which is just the wand that my mages can make now. So that's a mana mod rod, so I can get more mana back. And I use those all the time. And then Harm Shield, which is our invulnerability. So this will make us invulnerable to all attacks for how long? 18 seconds. And then it'll heal us for 6,000. So if I start playing better, right? Like I died in I think a few episodes because I didn't hit it. But ideally I would want to hit this to prevent my death and let somebody else take the hits for a second. And then once that I have enough health to continue, I get to click it off. I believe it goes over here, but it might go over there. I can't remember. All right, let's actually check. Yeah, it goes right here. So 21 seconds of invulnerability right there. Just click it off and you're free, but you'll get healed for 6,000 every tick. So I mean that could really save the day. And if you're like pulling, pop that, you can bring it back. Paladins get the same divine aura that clerics get, so they don't get the heal on it, I don't believe, but it is what it is. And then I do have Voice of Thule here, which is our extra aggro generation ability. It's a 5-minute recast for I think 10-15 minute duration, 15-minute duration now. So it is not mandatory, right? I can go without casting and I don't lose aggro. I don't have to deal with that because a lot of my abilities have aggro built into them via Terror, Revile, and then the Touch of the Soul Beater adds 10% extra threat to it too. So Shadowknight doesn't have to worry about threat at all. So it's pretty nice. Then I have bandolier buttons for one-hand and two-hand, so I can switch to shield if I want, or I can go back to two-hander if I want. With the shield on, you can see that I'm at 74,000 hit points, but with my two-hander I got now, I'm at 75,000 hit points. So right now, it's probably better for me to use the two-hander. Like, it's significantly better for me, but eventually I'm going to have to use the sword and shield just because it's going to make me more defensive. All right. Then we have my pet buff. That's my dog barks, right? And then the pet stuff, we already went over that. And then the final thing we have right here is Dark Lord Unity. This is just our Unity spell which casts all of our self buffs. This is phenomenal because look at how many self buffs we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that also turned me into a skeleton as Grim Covenant turns me into a skeleton, which is our mana conversion spell. So pretty nice. And all this other stuff, right? Let's take, like, if we take a look at this, like all the self buffs we want on here. Imbues your attacks with steal life, extra chance to steal life, right? Every time I attack, I life tap more, right? This one instills us with thirst for blood, giving attacks to execute a soul thirst strike. Damage your opponent and allow its next several melees to heal you for 10%. So that's crazy. Drape of Corruption. So this covers us in protective cloak, increasing our hit points, armor class, and causing damage to anybody attacks us. Remorseless Demeanor. Fills you with a remorseless demeanor that gives you extra efficiency to your next life tab spell if you're the one responsible for the death of the challenging foe. And then Grim Covenant, which just turns us into a skeleton, like a necromancer. Phenomenal. All right, and then we did pick up Bobbing Corpse, which is our Enduring Breath levitation kind of thing, poison resistance. So it's the same thing as Dead Man Floating, but we can cast it ourselves and gives us levitate. So it's pretty cool. I hate levitate personally, but it's useful in certain situations. So definitely something to think about there. And we did pick up Group Perfected Invisibility versus Undead, which is a near instant cast. Like, it's not instant, but near instant. So when we get to later content where there's a lot of undead, I'll be able to invis everybody without having to switch screens. So that'll be fantastic. That is everything there. A lot of new stuff, a lot of changes going to the spell bar here, but I think it's definitely I'm having a lot of fun. So my first character was a Shadowknight, right? I did a Shadowknight druid, shaman. It was a totally terrible group composition, but I still got to 120, right? I started in Empires of Kunark or Ring of Scale, and then like the next few months, Torment of Velius came out, right? So I was able to get to 120 eventually with that group, and it was challenging. I didn't know a lot about the class. It took a lot to learn. A lot of the stuff that I talk about here is I didn't know any of this. I had like literally one life tap memorized. I had just a bunch of junk memorized, right? And it took a lot of research, a lot of reading spell descriptions on Alakazam and Lucy and trying to figure out what the hell works, right? And eventually distilled it down to this. And it's been a fun class for sure. Definitely different than a paladin for sure. But I guess we could talk about gear, right? So I'm wearing the what is this? The broken mirror gear, all slots, even the trinket now. And I have the current level 80 Augs in here. So you can see here we're at House of Thule tier 1-ish gear, I think is what this would be equivalent to if I'm looking at this right. Maybe underfoot, like later tiers though, because the way that all worked out. But the weapon, I have no idea where I got this. Just have it. Apparently it's a raid weapon, so it's phenomenal. The one-hander and shield I use, the one-hander is from House of Thule, tier 1, the Verant zone, I believe. I think that's where I got this. I got it on my paladin when I got it, so I just gave it to him. It's a nice weapon, definitely better than what I was using before, these two red things. And then the shield is the house, not the House of Thule. This is the what is this one? This is TBM 2. Yeah, this is TBM, but it does not have the level 80 AUG for some reason, because I guess I sold the other one back to the vendor and I never swapped it, but it's not better than this two-hander I got going on right now. All right, so that's kind of like the gear. I would, like, if you're level 80, so I already went into House of Thule, like, spoiler, right? I went into House of Thule with, to get the Beast Lord to level 80, because at the end of the last episode of Hobbs and Friends, she was still 79, everybody else was 80. So I went there to try it out. Spoiler, we killed names without any problems. Like, I didn't record any of that because it was just like 20 minutes of me running around trying to get kills. We got 1% a kill in the zone for normal experience, and it was, I never felt like I was gonna die with like multiple mobs on me. It was crazy. It is what it is. I feel like the Shadowknight is really strong. I know I went to House of Thule with my paladin at level 80, and as a comparison, I felt way more tankier and more more capable with the Shadowknight right now. As we get to 125, we can kind of see the differences between the two. I should have my paladin moved over to this server by the time that I get to 125, and then we can I'll load them both up at the same time, and we can kind of compare and see how they work against things. I think I'll have my cleric so we can keep them alive while they try to solo something. But definitely that is the Shadow Knight. Sorry this video is so long, but there was a lot more new things in this one and whatnot. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.